So today, my name is Paramjeet. I am Sergeant at Arms for today. I am based in Dubai. Professionally, I am working as a design and development manager and a passionate Toastmaster from last 3 years. So let me read for you our club mission. We provide a sportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused mainly on prime leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has their virtual hand raised so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. I shall also be spotlighting the timer. To move further, our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is Francis Brown, who comes from Barbados, a place with 365 pink and white beaches. She is presently the president of Antigua Toastmaster Clubs and secretary for the Leadership Speak. She loves to read leadership books and novels. She doesn't like novels because they make them high, but certainly don't reach the expectations. So she loves to read and learn more about leadership. So please help me welcome the TMOD for Toastmaster of the day, Francis Baum. Over to you.
You're on mute, Francois.
Okay, can you, all right, so all right, technologies, these things happen, but you know what? We are here to build our confidence. My name is Francoise Bowen, and yes, I'm from the Caribbean island of Antigua and Barbuda. We're here to build ourselves so much better than, than we were yesterday. And indeed, I do not like novels because it puts you on a high and false expectations that you cannot meet. So I rather leadership books that help me to achieve what can be achievable. So our theme for today, all of us have nervous about something. It is natural to feel nervous in certain situations. Hey, I love picking mangoes. And sometimes to climb the mango tree, I honestly sometimes do get nervous, but my cat, he's not nervous. So he easily climb up the mango tree and then have me waiting for him. And obviously he cannot pick the mango, but mango is a fruit that we love right now. It's the season. And I'm telling you, how did this relate to our theme for today? When it comes to public speaking or presenting to an audience, we sometimes feel nervous. Fearlessness, in the sense of not experiencing any fear or nervousness, is indeed rare and perhaps even impossible for most people. However, what sets apart confident leaders is their ability to acknowledge and manage their nervousness and still take actions despite it. I mentioned climbing the mango tree, and I mean I'm going to conquer it because I want to pick my mangoes. Toastmasters offer a platform where people can practice and receive constructive feedback, helping them to gain confidence and become more effective communicators. The emphasis on working with one's strength in leadership speak further enhances the individual's ability to speak with confidence, conviction, and credibility. The process of preparing and planning and practicing and presenting essential is for honoring one's honing one public speaking skills. So while nervousness might be natural, the key lies in having the courage to take action while leveraging one's strengths. I will call on Toastmaster Ram. He will raise the toast. Over to you, Toastmaster Ram Lakhanpal.
Madam Toastmasters and all those viewing this show today. The hallmarks of leaders are that they speak with great confidence, asserting surety when leading a team. Historical figures such as John F. Kennedy spoke with confidence, thus asserted in September, way ahead of time, that in 1962, the US will reach the moon on July 20th, 1969. Metals that are necessary for the moon's mission had not been developed. So were many other things, but the surety in his speech that the mission will succeed. Likewise, Mahatma Gandhi spoke with confidence with the Indian citizens, declaring with surety that India will receive her independence, not through traditional warfare with bombs and everything else, but through nonviolence. The premier club for advanced Toastmasters leadership speak has developed numerous leaders who speak with confidence, week in, week out. At this point, I would like to propose a toast. And today's theme is Speak with Confidence. That said, please unmute yourselves. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. And I'm sure that we are unmuted. Please join me in raising your glasses to today's theme. Speak with confidence.
Speak
with confidence.
With confidence.
Thank you all. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ram. And we'll now call on Daniel. Toastmaster Daniel, he will give us the word of the day.
Morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'm calling in from Nairobi, Kenya. And my role today as a grammarian it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully for their language usage. I will take note of any misuse of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day today is a verb, assert. Assert is a verb meaning a state, a fact, or belief confidently and forcefully. An example is the company asserts the cuts will not affect development. And I'd also like to say that we have asserted ourselves with the race, with winning the world record. Back to you, Francoise.
Thank you so much. I know we're all excited to be here in our meeting and we want the whole world to hear us. But you know what? We want to ensure that we have a lovely meeting. I'm going to ask all of us, if you're not speaking, if you're not doing anything, just mute your mic. I know we want the world to hear what is happening at Leadership Speak, but it can be a little distracting when others are sharing in the excitement because they are competing with the presenter. It's very exciting. I know that. All right. I'm going to call now on our timer, and our timer will describe their role and back over to Jayathi, Toastmaster Jayathi, to let us know timer role.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day. My name is Jyoti Thomas. I will be timing your speeches and display green, yellow, and red signal as per the agenda posted. I will post the timer report after each section in the chat box. These are the timer slides that I will be displaying. green, yellow, red. I request you to kindly pin me before you begin. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our first education speaker, our first leadership education speaker is none other than distinguished Toastmaster Mohmad. Now, there's something interesting about him, but before I call on him, I'm going to ask his evaluator to give us the purpose of distinguished Toastmasters Mohmad's presentation, and his evaluator is none other than distinguished Toastmaster Sudarshan.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our education speaker today, Toastmaster Mohmad Azimuddin. He is delivering a speech which essentially is leading in any situation. The specific objectives of his speech are for him to display to all of us the learnings that he's accrued by successfully leading in a volunteer organization, and to also share with us his experience of getting an evaluation or receiving an evaluation which was of 360 degrees. These are the two aspects of his speech. As per the manual, it is supposed to be an 8 to 10 minute speech, but in the tradition of leadership speak, it will be an 18 to 20 minute speech that he shall be delivering. I will be looking out for the content as well as the methods of delivery as has been requested by the speaker. So here I would like to wish our speaker all the very best and hand it back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Mohammad Azimuddin. He's a mechanical engineer by profession and a Toastmaster by passion, working as a senior reliability engineer in a mining company in Ontario. Served Toastmaster in club officers role, helped many clubs to grow as a trainer and a leader, awarded recognition of Distinguished Toastmaster in 2018. So sometimes you'll see DTM, that's what it means, Distinguished Toastmaster. Received the Best Leader and Best Toastmaster awards, enjoy a successful married life with 3 kids, all are engineers. Generation is going on. Passionate about helping everyone and anyone to grow. Demonstrated the servant leadership in workplaces to build better relationships with superiors and colleagues. Help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Mohmad Azimuddin.
My slides is visible.
Yes, it is visible. Building confidence. Building confidence, Mohmad Azimuddin.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day. Fellow Toastmasters, self-directed leaders, look at your watch. For the next 20 minutes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Today, I'm very much confident because you are the audience, and you are the right audience for this speech, because you are aware of confidence and nervousness. You have felt the heat of the nervousness in your presentation. And on the other hand, you have the impact of confidence on your presentation and led you to the success. So today's topic is building confidence. I want to share my own experience, what I have gone through a long years. Sometimes I was nervous, and sometimes I was confident. So let me share my own experience. Once I was going to deliver my speech, and I proceeded to the stage. I was shivering because I was afraid of the stage. And then when I was on the stage, I was afraid of the audience. So the visual, the real-time visual of the stage and the audience impacted on my mind and made me nervous. But a day before, when I was practicing my speech in front of a mirror, I was too much confident. Because at that time, the real-time visual of the stage and the audience was not in my mind. I was nervous only when I realized the importance and the existence of the stage and the audience. And that impacted on my mind. Although there were some positive factors, like all of the audience wanted me to succeed as a successful presenter. All of the audience were looking at me as a successful presenter and welcomed me at that time on the stage. But I didn't pick up that factors. I picked only the negative thing, the fear of the stage, the fear of the audience. And that made me nervous. Let me share one of my childhood story. I was 5 years old and my elder brother was 7 years old. And we were sitting in the room at night. My mother was in the hospital. We were 2 brothers alone there. My brother was very much fond of telling stories, and the stories of demons. And in each story, he was presenting himself as a hero. He was killing the demons. That night, when he was telling the story, at the point when he was telling that a demon came to his house and he was standing at the door and he was just about to knock at the door, there was a power shutdown and there was a complete darkness in the room. And then the demon really knocked at the door. There was a knocking at the door and I was really very much scared. I asked my brother, bro, I am scared. Are you scared too? And my brother, who was really a hero, he said, shh. And then knocking again heard from the door. And then my brother, he started doing something like mad. He stood on the bed and he started shouting, I am the best, I am the best, I am the best, the best, I am the best. That's why he is showing his badness. But now today, I realized why he showed his madness. Because he didn't want the negative thoughts come in his mind at that moment. He filled his mind with his madness. And that madness was pulling him towards the confidence. And he forgot about that demon outside the door. So that lesson I learned from my brother. And I consider myself till today that this is the right way to suppress your nervousness and improve your confidence. So I have here something to share with you. That external elements, either you are your stage fear, your audience fear, your work stress, your public speaking, your anxiety, these are all the external elements, the external factors that always affect on our mind. And that comes as a pressure. That pressure makes us nervous. And this is natural. Every one of us feels this condition and act accordingly. So what happens? When these external elements comes to our mind, it initiates a chemical reaction in our mind, and that makes our body for a fight and flight response. Fight means when you are in an office and somebody blames you for the wrongdoings, and you think that you are blamed alone, then you start fighting with your colleagues, sometimes your bosses, sometimes your subordinates. And flight means you are running away from facing these challenges, this situation. Both are not good. If you will fight, it will damage your position in the organization. And if you will fly, then it will damage your credibility. So none of them are good. But how it works when you are preparing yourself to present your presentation to the audience? Fight means there is a fight going on in your mind without informing you. And the fight is between nervousness and confidence. The moment when your nervousness wins, you become nervous. And when your confidence wins, you become confident. And that always in your mind. But you don't know that is going on parallel to your flight. Flight means it happens sometime with me as well, that tomorrow is my presentation and today I start feeling fever. And this is a good reason not to go to the presentation. Sometimes you make some excuses and then to quit from that presentation, quit from that situation where you face the challenges. And these are not good. So once you act upon your fight or flight responses, slowly your chemical reaction neutralizes, and then you come back to your original state. It happens with you when you are working in an organization. You fight with your colleagues, and after you're fighting, you see that you are neutralized and you are now cooled up. So what we can do to stop this negative thinking coming? Can we stop here, this point? Can we stop these external elements come in our mind? Yes, there is possibilities. But it is, for the common people like me, it's a little bit difficult. I cannot stop this negative thinking, the pressure that comes in our mind, and initiate a chemical reaction. Let it be the time when the chemical reaction is initiated in your mind and body. You can just stop going into fight and flight situation. This is possible. And possible by adopting a diversion to your normal situation, normal state. And that diversion you can achieve in two different ways, either by madness or greatness. Madness, once again, I am the best, I am the best, I am the best, I am the best. Use this technique when you are going to present your presentation. Do it for 5-10 minutes alone. And then you will see the energy that will come in you. That is enough to suppress your nervousness. And that my brother did that day. And I learned this technique. That madness will never make you go unsuccessful. That madness creates an energy, the feelings that you are really great, best. And what are the greatness? Let us see some of the greatness that we can adopt in our life to improve our confidence and suppress our nervousness. The first is shift your mindset. This is all about your mind. Shift your mindset. Consider that the nervousness is not a bad thing. It is temporarily, and it has come to you to make you realize the importance of confidence. And this is the starting point of learning confidence. So change your mind that nervousness is just making you unsuccessful. It is making you successful. Visualize success. In front of you, you have the nervousness, the feeling of nervousness. Once you will go through it, only then you will achieve your success. So you always visualize the success on the other side of the nervousness and move forward. That will definitely take you through your nervousness into your confidence, the area of confidence, and you will achieve your success. Because you are always visualizing the success and suppressing the nervousness. A positive self-talk. You always talk to yourself. The nervousness is, for the time being, it is not that real. It is that it is to make me a successful presenter, a successful man in my career, in my professional and personal life. You talk to yourself. There is nothing. Just downplay this nervousness and make yourself your way to success. Breathing exercise. This is very common. Every time when you go to the stage, you prepare yourself, you take a breath. And that helps you to improve your confidence at that time. This is all the way to suppress your nervousness. Body language is very important. If you are in this way, you are showing your nervousness. So you need to avoid this situation, or this way, or your body, or your posture is this way, or just shifting all your load on one leg and then on the other one. So in this way, or leaning on something. So that body language shows your nervousness. Eliminate these things. Make it, fake it until you make it. So by your body language, you can show that you are confident, you're not nervous. And that will give you enough energy and enough opportunity, enough time to think that you have yourself the confidence. Many people will say that the fear is inside you. I have a different idea. Actually, the potential to fight against the fear is inside you. If you will not use that potential, and the fear will come in and reside inside you. So that body language, you will show that inside is the potential that you are reflecting in every presentation, in every situation. Gradual exposure means you are facing the challenges in different steps. So first, make your first step forward, and then see what is happening. What are the challenges? What makes you nervous? Deal with that. And then move the next step. And in this way, you will see that all your nervousness you have left behind, and you are moving forward with confidence. And that confidence will make you the success. Support network. Yes, this is very important in everyone's life, that you must have someone, you will go to him, discuss your situation, ask them ask him or them what can be done to suppress your nervousness and what he or she does to suppress her nervousness. What is the way that you can improve your confidence? So always be in touch with someone that you think he is a confident speaker, a confident presenter. So once you will not have in your mind someone successful, you cannot be a successful. So once I was trying to write a story, somebody asked me that, have you read the stories written by some good writers? I said, no. They said, how you will write it if you will not read it? So if you will not meet the successful and confident people, you will yourself cannot make a confident person. Focus on solution. Always think that what is your achievement? You bring that achievement up and then focus on your solution. What do you want to achieve? What are your problems? And how you will resolve these problems and achieve the goals that you have determined in your life. These are the ways that help you to improve your confidence, suppress your nervousness, and make you successful. My message today is that improve your confidence and lead in any situation. Think it is a cat, not a demon that knocked at your door. Change your mind. Use your positive energy. You have enough potential inside you. Don't let it go out of your hand. And don't let the nervousness overcome you. There is always a fight between nervousness and confidence inside you. Help your confidence to make you confident. That's my message. Over to you.
Thank you so much. All right. Technology. Wow. Wow. Let us give our speaker a round. Somebody in this room is eager to jump and yes, I will conquer the world. Conquer the world. I will now call on our first evaluator for our next speaker. And our first evaluator is Toastmaster Lokesh. Toastmaster Lokesh, the virtual lectern is now yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. And I'm going to evaluate a project of Toastmaster Marianna. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice delivering an informative speech and running a well-organized question and answer session. The member is responsible for managing time, so there is adequate opportunity for both the question and answer and well-structured speech. So back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Okay, thank you so much, Toastmaster Lokesh. And I'm going to give quickly about our next speaker, which is Toastmaster Marianna. Joined almost 5 years ago to improve self-confidence, to be a better speaker. Yep, and she's gotten a lot more than that. Over the years, fulfilled many leadership roles such as president, vice president of education, area director twice, and now on a speechcraft organization away from receiving a first distinguished Toastmaster. And first time ever will be a division director in the upcoming Toastmaster year. Her speech, professionally, she's a passionate wellness advocate with a mission to help people to be able to make better and healthier lifestyle choices with simple and budget-friendly solutions. Please help me welcome Marianna Burka. Leaders have to stop. Leaders have to stop. Marianna Burka. You're muted, my leader, Marianna.
Yeah, sorry. Few months ago, the mother's worst nightmare came true in my life. I received a phone call that my daughter had a workplace accident and suffered a concussion. I'm still emotional. She works with horses, and as one of her horse got scared, pushed my daughter, and she landed, hitting the wall head first. I am well aware that accidents can happen with serious consequences, especially when one works with animals with a weight 10 times our own body weight. In February, my daughter was taken to a medical center and was diagnosed with concussion. The good news was that I received that phone call from my daughter, Victoria, which meant she was well enough to communicate, though she was warned away from screen use and many other things. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, why am I sharing this story with you? After all, my speech title, Leaders Have to Stop. That doesn't sound like connected. What am I planning to stop you, leaders of this group? And I will get to that soon, I promise. During that conversation with my daughter, Victoria, she asked my opinion, what she can do to speed up her healing process. And yes, I suggested her supplementation, even short walks, but most importantly, I asked her to stop eating. I asked her to fast. Most people apply a fasting lifestyle when they want to lose weight. And it is working, it is a good approach, because if you're not consuming any calories, you are going to burn fat for energy. But fasting is not just about losing weight. The leaders have to stop eating, because fasting is a healing process. You can heal your body with fasting. And don't misunderstand me. Losing weight is a good way to a fasting lifestyle. But many of you here is in a perfect weight. Yet I'm still talking about my pet peeve, one of my pet peeve, fasting. Because fellow leaders, we all need exceptional brain power, and fasting can give you that. Just like I suggested to my daughter that she should stop eating time to time. And true, there are many ways that we can have a healthy lifestyle. We can have a healthy body, but there is nothing that compares by simplicity. And as we heard, more budget friendly to get to where we are going. Then just stop eating and don't worry about everything else. When my daughter asked for my suggestion, I gave her a supplementation plan and an eating plan. But most importantly, I told her to stop eating for 20 to 23 hours every day. Does that sound scary? And she is a perfect weight. She doesn't have to lose weight. So I explained it to her that she can eat as much calories with an appropriate food as she can take or she feels like, because weight loss was not a goal. But she has to give her body 20 to 23 hours break every day to give her body, and most importantly, her brain, a break from eating. Because we know that after 20 hours, a neurotransmitter, BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, gets activated. And that simply means our brain works more efficiently, hence help healing. So I suggested her the OMAD diet. But you don't all need to have that kind of diet. Even a shorter period of time can help to scare away diabetes or to help to heal digestive issues. So this is so important for me that I created a program, a 5 weeks program all about fasting. And I would like to invite you to join me for 5 Sunday morning to talk about different kind of fasting, different sides of positive sides, different possible negative side, because not everyone can do everything. But I will put a link to the chat a bit later on to invite you to this event for 5 Saturday mornings, and we will talk about fasting, how to stop, how to start, which kind of you should do. And I will give you challenges. And also there will be always a question and answer period, because what I learned, that is what most people have. Questions. Why, how, what? So that is today's topic as well, a question and answer period. So here I am now, waiting for your questions regarding the topic of fasting.
Marianna, I didn't understand. You said you told your daughter to stop eating for 23 hours a day. So is that every day?
Well, but I told her to do it as many days as she can. Do it as long as she can. But what we do know that BDNF, the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, gets activated after 20 hours. So I encourage them. And that's a main point about any nutritional program, including fasting. We cannot really tell anyone, you have to do this, because it depends on you. But even my daughter, I gave her suggestions. I told her why. I gave her ideas how, and it was up to her to implement it. And she did, most of the time, not every day.
Okay, so the reasoning for this is because she had a concussion?
Yes, in her case, that was the reason.
Okay.
Any other question, anyone?
So Marianna, Lukesh this side, I have a question. So while you suggested your daughter Victoria to fast while she was recovering from after a severe accident, how scientifically it is rational to fast for 20 to 23 hours a day out of total 24 hours we have? How does it actually benefit?
Exactly. So that is the main point of fasting. When you're not eating, you give your body a break. It doesn't have to digest. So your body can concentrate on healing the body. And we all know that after 16 hours, we have this process autophagy, which is basically self-cleaning. And as it goes further, the brain starts that autophagy process. That's what happens after 20 hours. And that's why it was important for my daughter to have as many 22 hours fast. And I would not suggest for 2-3 days in her case, because that would be overbearing in her situation. But a 22-hour fast would, and it benefited her because her healing was great. Now, to prove that it was because of the fasting or because a healthy diet or because the walks she took, it's hard to prove. But there is studies out there proving that 22 hours helps your brain to work better.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Did she take your advice? Can you hear me?
Vivian?
Marianna, this is Vivian. I would like to know, is it all right for senior citizens who have acidic tummy? Is it all right to not eat for 20 hours? If it is, let's do it.
Well, without knowing the person, in general, I would not suggest to anyone to start with a 20-hour fasting. You have to build up, and when you have any kind of health condition, you have to even more careful how you do it. But in any situation, you would start with 12 hours fasting, 12 hours eating, and raising that 12-hour fasting time for a longer period over time. And that can work for senior citizens, for young people, for ill people, but more health condition you have, more careful you have to be, and you have to change very slowly. If that helps you.
Thank you very much. Just hearing what you said, I feel healthier already.
Wonderful.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you very much. Sandra, you have a question.
Thank you. That fasting, when I first started thinking about it with the intermittent fasting, when somebody said, oh, well, you're sleeping 12 hours of the day. So at first it sounds like it's a big thing, but really if we're looking at our 24 hours, at least 8 or 9 or 10 of those hours we're in our bed, even if it's 6 by the time. And the other thing that was a holdback, and you might want to comment on that, was I don't eat breakfast anymore. I don't eat until noon or whatever. So that automatically means from when I was sleeping, when I went to bed at 10 or 11 till 11 or 12 or 1 o'clock, I've already done my 12 hours. So it's, but then people say, oh, your breakfast is your most important meal. How do you overcome? You need to have your breakfast. I don't think so.
Thank you very much for your question. And that is a very interesting topic. Thank you for bringing it up because yes, I believe breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But breakfast, if you listen, what's the word? Breaking fast.
Yeah.
And whenever you have your first meal of the day, that is your breakfast. And that can be 12 o'clock, it can be 10 a.m., or it can be even 2 p.m. That still be your breakfast. And your first meal always should be important and nutritious. That doesn't mean you have to eat it at 7 in the morning. Whenever you're breaking your fast, that is your breakfast. And you have to remember that. And just tell people who pushing you that breakfast is the most important. Agree with them. Yes, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You can have it 2 o'clock in the afternoon, no problem.
That's great. Breaking the fast, I think as soon as that comes through, it helps alleviate the worry about what time you have to have it. Because when I did have that old theory, I'm getting up and going to work, I'll have breakfast and then go to work, I would be starving, by 10 or 10:30 already again. So it didn't work.
But that is when I said earlier that you have to build up your fasting lifestyle. And you start with a 12 to 12 and add an hour every week or whichever speed you can do it because your body gets used to it. And the other thing you can try, just have a glass of water, because usually our body is really just thirsty and we conceive that as hunger. But sometimes if you have a glass of water, that will calm your whole body down for the next 20, 30 minutes. And in a few weeks, you won't even notice that, oh, it's 2 o'clock and I'm not even hungry yet. That's cool. It takes time. That's why it is a lifestyle. It's not a medicine that you take it now and you're fine. It's a lifestyle you have to build up. You need patience. And yes, sometimes it comes with a bit of suffering depending on your personality. And the requirement of food every 2 hours, that's just simple addiction. And you have to overcome it. Any other question?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gary Singh.
So Marianna, I have one more question. Hello.
Hi, Marianna.
Yes.
My question is very simple, but since I have experienced this, I would like to ask you, any kind of fasting, at times it increases stress, kind of irritation. So how to deal with those periods, if I may ask you?
Thank you very much for your question, Gary. And with the irritation, that's where it comes that you have to take small steps at a time. So, you know, every life changing is a give and take. You push a bit and you step back. You do have to be a bit uncomfortable, but you do have to step back. You don't want to destroy your body. And most of us, the requirement to eat every 2-3 hours, that's just simple addiction. We need that carbohydrate fix or whatever is our, mine is coffee, whatever is our need. But you have to take small steps at a time and it will go away. Is that helpful?
Thank you. That will be helpful, I guess. Thank you.
Try it and come back to our Sunday meetings, and I'm curious how it works for you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, Lokesh, you have a question?
Yes, sorry, I think somebody was asking, I guessed in between. So my question is that 20 to 23 hours of fasting when you recommend, is it nothing to have in between? Either it is a small quantity of fruit or coffee, cup of tea, or we can have it something like, which don't have carbs. So what do you suggest?
Thank you very much for your question, Lokesh. Well, fasting is when you're not consuming any calories. So what is not having any calories? Water. You can have black tea or coffee, and that is. You can put a bit of lemon juice in your water, the pinch of salt, that can help with cravings, but nothing else. Once you have a latte, which I like, then the fasting is over. But it's only water, tea or coffee, black, and a pinch of salt or lemon in the water. That is what you can add to a pure fast. Now, there are many variations out there, which, oh, you can have this, you can have that. In my point of view, if you're fasting, just don't eat anything and get over it and start your life, continue your life.
Thank you. That helps.
Welcome. Ram, do you have a question?
I certainly do. That's why I raised my hand.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I'm just saying that if you were to look at the questionnaires that have been put to you, it's primarily women. Women are interested in these more than men. Is that the reason why men die much earlier than women? Is there something about that?
I don't have a scientific proof for that one, but one thing is we know scientifically, healthier one's lifestyle, longer they will live. And very long time ago, I read a study that the poorest countries have the healthiest people. And that has something to do that when you don't have food overload, you cannot eat too much and your body stays healthier by default. So maybe, but that I cannot tell you for sure. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for the answer.
And my time is up. yellow sign is up there. So thank you very much for your questions and the opportunity to speak today. And I will post the link for my Sunday morning events to talk more about fasting, the ins and outs of fasting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Well, we just heard the speech. So my lettuce, cucumber with my balsamic. So in the meantime, while we are breaking the fast, you can, for 1 minute, let Marianna know your feedback. I gotta fast. So timer, 1 minute for everyone. And thank you so much, Marianna, for that speech. And that question that was posed by one of our members in the meeting, men and the women, is it the reason why men are, I was choking behind, like, oh, I never thought of that. And thank you for sharing that real life situation with your daughter. And we're glad that she's okay. We're glad that she's all right. And it is so important for us to take care of our health. It is. And last but not least, we will do our best to ensure we stay in touch with our greens. I have lettuce and cucumber. Okay. All right, so it's 1 minute. And I'm now going to call on our next evaluator. Our next evaluator is none other than Toastmaster Carine Baptiste. Please give the objectives of our next speaker, Rivero.
Thank you, Francoise, dear members, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. This evening, or this afternoon, this morning, I will be evaluating Rivero. His pathway is dedicated to persuasive influence, level 3. His objective is to focus on the positive. He needs to share some aspects on the experience of keeping a daily record of moods and attitudes, feeling positive or negative successes and efforts, and 3 things for which the speaker is grateful. Record and evaluate changes in behavior or the behavior of others. Back to you, Francoise. You can introduce the speaker.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rivero with a speech entitled Confront the Negative Spiral. Confront the Negative Spiral, and he has been involved in Toastmasters since 2012. Please help me welcome Rivero. Confront the Negative Spiral. Confront the Negative Spiral, Rivero. You're muted, Ray.
That was not a positive experience. Yet I have days where I want to embrace the world and other days where I just want to avoid it. Fellow Leadership Speak members and guests, there is a challenge for me to switch over from the negative over to the positive. But why do I want to do that? Because, fellow Toastmasters, flipping from negative to positive is a great emotional intelligence skill we all can learn. I had to do a journal, trying to figure out what to enter into it. For example, what's happening at the moment, the situation, my attitude, and my emotion. or emotions. But where could I find such a list? I don't have them all. Then when I was reviewing a lecture series from a website called The Great Courses, I found one called Overcome Your Overthinking. And there was something called the ruler method. This is great because it tells me about recognizing emotions in myself and in others. What are the causes and consequences of these emotions? How to label them, how to express them in any cultural and social context. And finally, regulate them using helpful strategies. This lecture series came up with a diagram. It explained how we went from blue over to green, the ideal spot. But I noticed the reds up in the upper left hand. It was less pleasant, but it was also high energy. And this is the place where I often go to fall into that negative spiral, whether it's by overthinking or by freezing myself with an analysis by paralysis approach. This meant that I had to stop this negative spiral and turn it into something positive. What do I need to do? Or how do I stop this negative spiral? One thing I do is pray and meditate. And it's best summarized by what's called a serenity prayer. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are times where I can't even get through the first line of things that I cannot change. And then I realize when I have the courage to change the things, I'm starting to switch over. And now when I reach the wisdom, I have embraced the positive. I'll give you another example. This year, I made it to my very first district contest, the humorous speech contest. On the day that the contest occurred, I practiced and practiced. I couldn't wait to go and make my speech. I was ready. So ready that I was sure that I was going to win, screaming that I'm the best. After the judges delivered their verdict, do you know how I did? I didn't win. I didn't place second. I didn't place at all. Some of my friends who watched that contest thought I should have won. A few of them even mentioned that I got robbed. That was kind of a negative situation, and I was disappointed. But I realized that there were a few things that I could take away that will flip it into positive. I made it to the division, to beat the district contest. I did the best I could, and I'm happy that I left everything when I made my presentation. And I have no control over what the judges decide what was the best speech. But I had momentum to do better at another contest. And there are days where when I'm trying to organize everything on my to-do list. There are days where it's just like planets swirling around the sun, and I'm wondering what to do. I got the cat to feed, I got the dog to walk, I got my son to school, I got my honey-do list, I got my work stuff, and don't forget about the Toastmasters speech you have to do. What am I going to do? I realize there's a couple of things. I don't need to multitask or fall into an analysis by paralysis. I do one thing at a time, and not everything at once. And I often do is take the time to prioritize what needs to be done and what I can do during the day, or I can wait until later. And by the time that end of the day comes around and I see all those things marked off, that is a positive experience. And I can build on that for the next day. So overall, I'm still learning how to flip from the negative to the positive. But I realize by doing so, I'm building a tool to help me improve my emotional intelligence. Sometimes I might need to reach out for help with some others. I have 5 guys that could help me with that. Maybe I could use their advice to help me flip over and stop that negative spiral. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you so much, Ray, for that speech. And it happened to all of us, but we have to catch ourselves at the end of the day and come out of that. I will now call on our next evaluator, Binda Joseph, who will speak on the purpose of our next speaker.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Our next speaker, in fact, our President Asif, he is going to attempt a project, a 5 to 7 speech from his path motivational strategies. It's about understanding communication styles, the different types of communication styles, being able to identify his particular communication style, and more importantly, the impact of that communication style on all of us. A special objective, a private objective of Asif is to understand the clarity of his speech. So, dear audience, my challenge to you, message in the chat box. How clear is his message during his 5 to 7 speech? Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Since 25 plus years, Asif been helping businesses to achieve higher profits by harmonizing people, processes, and technologies. Communicating as per the situational expectations improves relationships and create better understanding. Please help me welcome Mohammad Asif Saiyed, Communication Strategies. Communication Strategies, Mohammad Asif Saiyed.
Imagine a person speaking in French to another person who understands Chinese. Would there be a communication between them? It would be definitely a very challenging situation, isn't it? But imagine that both are speaking in French or both are able to speak or understand in Chinese. I mean, then what do you think about their communication? Definitely, it should be a great communication, isn't it? But in reality, it doesn't happen so. And the reason is people have different communication styles. We can call it as their preference. We can call it as their habit, what they are habituated to, the way they are communicating to the people. For example, some people like details, facts and figures, whereas some would like to have a higher level view about whatever the other person is discussing about. And this especially is so important in a corporate environment. When a person, a mid-level manager, is supposed to communicate across onto the higher level hierarchy, like the CSO or the CXOs or the Chief Marketing Officer or the CEO, or communicating to the peers, or communicating to the level down who are involved in doing the actual work and who like details and specifics. So as a mid-level manager, the challenge is to adapt to the various audiences. And imagine a situation where in a meeting where everybody comes together, then what happens? Like, whom are you going to be addressing and what kind of a communication style you're going to be speaking in? I had this challenges several times because in my profession as an auditor, I'm in the initial stages of when I'm conducting my work or starting my work, I need to meet a team of people who are doing the actual work, executing their technology work. So I need to be very specific to them. But when I'm communicating the results at the end of what the audit work has accomplished, then in that process, I'm speaking to the higher level organizational hierarchy or the chief or the head of the departments. Now, most of these people in the head of the departments, you would see them that they are mainly involved in making decisions throughout their daily routine. So whatever information you are giving to them, they are absorbing it and they are making decisions. And I have noted specifically that managers in the higher level, that is the head of departments, they like concise and direct information. And with the intention that, what do you want me to do with that information? Do you want, so for example, I used to go and speak to one of the boss, and as soon as I enter his cabin and say that, look, Mr. Himanshu, this is the challenge which we are having. He is immediately hand would go onto the telephone and say, whom do you want me to call? Do you want me to call that another person and fire him for not giving the information? And I would be scared, like, okay, what is it like, So the reason of my observing this head of the departments, what I have understood is that number one is that when you approach them, my communication strategy is to inform them that this is what I am come to inform you about and what kind of a decision I want you to make so that it will help me deliver my results. This is so important because if you wouldn't be communicating directly to them and moving around and around and not giving them a clue as to what exactly they are supposed to do, it would create a really embarrassing and frustrating situations for them, and you would not be seen as a confident person. But imagine the same thing if I had to communicate to the team with whom I'm working or who are reporting to me. And if I give them very direct information, but high level, they would have no clue exactly what they are supposed to execute. So in that sense, what I would be doing is that I would be sharing with them as much as possible an elaborate or comprehensive information, maybe a template, and explaining them what kind of results which I'm expecting out of the communication. For example, give me a list of all IT equipments or give me a list of all incidents raised in the system from 1st January to today's date or whichever period I'm talking about, and then give them a list of all fields which that report or MIS report should have it. If I'm not communicating that detailed information, they would give me any information what they think from their mind, isn't it? So adapting your communication style to various audiences can result in a more meaningful relationship, number one, more mutual trust, and even more confidence amongst the various stakeholders. And where there are many stakeholders, I mean, each depending, for example, in a meeting, you have a head of the department as well as you have engineers in the same meeting. What kind of a language you would be talking about or communication style you might be adopting. So my tip would be, suggestion would be, or from my experience is that I would look towards is who is the kingmaker in that particular meeting? Who is the person for whom I've entered into the meeting and who is going to be the decision maker? I should be addressing that person's concerns. So in that case, for example, if I feel that this is the main meeting for the head of the department, then I would be conveying those or adapting that communication style, which a head of department would be really conversant with. And this is how adapting various communication styles depending on the audiences leads to greater efficiency in the communication, more understanding, more collaboration, and obviously more results. Results lead to more profits. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Asif. And I'm pondering and realizing that we need to ensure we use wisdom with the different communication strategies. Please give your response to Toastmaster Asif in the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to call on our next evaluator, Toastmaster Sounda, to speak about the objectives for our next speaker.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. Toastmaster Angela Brown's speech is what I'm going to evaluate. The purpose of this speech, this particular project, is to practice applying feedback from the previous speech and serve as a speech evaluator during the club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectful evaluation speech. All the best, Toastmaster Angela Brown. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker, Angela Brown, is an author, entrepreneur, and chronic illness advocate. Her speech is entitled Behind the Smiles. Behind the Smiles, Angela Brown.
Good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Raise your hands if you have a secret. Don't be shy, I'm not going to ask you to reveal the secret, but raise your hand if you have a secret. Great. Everyone has a secret. Let's take a look at these celebrities. They have a secret. If you look at them, you would say that they are beautiful, they're rich, they're famous, and they have a great smile. But what are they hiding behind their smiles? They're having problems with their health. They wake up every day struggling with their minds and their bodies and the pain that is ravishing through their bodies. Celine Dion recently came out and said that she has stiff person syndrome. She quotes, "This disease causes severe and persistent muscle spasms, and these spasms affect every day, every aspect of her daily life." They didn't ask for their illness, but these are the cards they were dealt, and they have to play. They have to play the game over and over and over again every day. Their pain is real. They have pain every single day. I know about the pain that they have because I also have chronic, invisible, and mental illness. I wake up every day not knowing what from one day to the next, or 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second at a time, how I'm going to feel. There are days when I can't get out of bed because the pain is so bad, I can barely get up. There are days when I can't even hold a glass because my hands hurt so much or they twitch so much that I can't even hold the glass. And there are days when I can't talk because I had COVID and I was in the hospital, and because of being on a ventilator, it affected my voice. And so some days I can't talk. Why am I sharing this with you? Because I kept this as a secret. My family and close friends knew, but I didn't tell other people like I'm telling you now. I have chronic and mental illness. There's some days I'm so depressed. I feel lonely, alone, stuck, unloved, like nobody cares. I sometimes feel like maybe it's just better to just end it. My doctors diagnosed me with depression. And because I was open about it, I started getting help. Help from my family, help from friends. People, would offer to cook me a meal, to, just come and spend time with me. These are what happens when you reveal your secret. You get help. My brother has paranoid anxiety disorder. My brother is 47 years old. He got diagnosed in his 20s, but he didn't tell anybody. He kept it to himself. We thought he was just weird. We would see him, and then we wouldn't see him for 6 months at a time. We would file missing persons reports, so many that the cops would stop taking them because they said they would go to his house and he'd be sitting in his house alone and doesn't want to communicate with us. When he finally revealed his secret to my niece, we understood now why he was the way he was. And we could help him. We could give him the support that he needed. If you have a secret, don't be ashamed. Don't keep it inside. Share your secret with others. Share your secret with a trusted friend, family member, coworker. There's help there for you if you just reach out and touch it. So I would like to leave you with a quote. Do nothing in secrecy, because time sees all, hears all, and discloses all. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Angela, for that. Indeed, we all have secrets, and hearing your story, there's still hope for all of us. My secret, why am I HIV/AIDS advocate? Because my dad died from HIV/AIDS, and I've never said it to anyone. But it's helping me through his story, in helping others in my advocacy. I will now call on our next and final evaluator, Dr. Aswati, to speak on the objectives of our final speaker. Over to you, Dr. Aswati.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to evaluate Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti Ghosh's speech. He is presenting Level 1, Project 2 from the pathway visionary communicator. And the speech which he is presenting today is writing a speech with purpose. Let me read out the project purpose now. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Toastmaster Mrinal want me to evaluate on his content and Zoom presence. So I'll be looking for both and also add up few more points based on my evaluation. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dr. Aswathi. And Toastmaster Mrinal is working as a market access manager in GlaxoSmithKline. And he has been in Toastmasters for 2 years. His speech titled, Choose Your Words Wisely. Mrinal Kanti.
What? Why you all are looking at me? Why you all people are looking at me? Do you think smoking kills? I tell you some facts. Do you know? Number of people are dying from diabetes are 3 times higher than those who die from smoking. Do you know the root cause of lung cancer is not a smoking? It's all of your own DNA. I don't know why people are hate with smoking. Do you know one thing? If you smoke for years and years, nothing could happen. It's just a myth. Another thing I just want to share with all of you, you know, the whole world against smoking. Do you know why the reason behind that? They want to spoil the industry of $942 billion industry. Trust me. They just want to spoil the industry of $942 billion worldwide. This is a figure of 2023. Good morning, fellow Toastmaster and dear guest. Few days back, I had an argument with a group of my friends. I told the same thing with friends, like I said with all of you, same story. And trust me, what happened? 5 of them believe what I said. 2 of them just started smoking. So, ladies and gentlemen, your words are very precious. You can change someone's mind, or even you can change someone, alter the belief system of a person's. So trust me, friends, use your word wisely. Same thing happened with me as well. Just a few days back, I can see that someone want to call me, hey, Mrinal, what are you doing today? Yes, I am here only. Okay, Mrinal, can I have a party? Oh, no, I don't have party because I try to avoid it. No, you told me that day. I want to just joking from you all people. So friends, use your words wisely. Why I'm telling you can bring someone from the spoil, from the happiness, or you can change the mindset of a people becoming successful. Someone can accept your language or someone may not, but you should use your language appropriately. Friends, I tell you 2 stories today. One story of my daughter and another story of my friends. So I have only one daughter. She's just 6 years of age. She had one bad habit. She always try to drawing in the wall with his crayon. One evening, I just entered her room. What she's doing? She's doing the same thing, drawing and writing on the wall with crayons. And I entered to the rooms. I said, hey, 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 what are you doing? Don't do it again. I don't want that. Rubbish. And you all people think what the replies get. Same thing happened with my daughter. 1 second, she focused on writing and drawing on the wall. So trust me, no one likes to be threatened or intimidated. They all feel proud of herself. We try to find out the root cause of the reason to try to solve that. Similar way, next day, also doing the same thing. And this time, he looking at me, spike me like this, like this. So I think I do something different. How can I change that bad habit of my daughter? One day, once again, I entered to her room. Next day, I told her, darling, please come here, come here. Please come in front of me. Darling, why you are doing now? You are a big girl now. Don't do it. Don't do it, darling. You are a big girl now. And trust me, friends, next day onwards, she never do the same thing again and again because it's a pride feeling for my daughter. And my daughter told, can you purchase another new flat? Or maybe you can paint our new house so it looks a very clean house. So that's the story of my daughter. So you word her wisely. Please take care of your words when you try to connect with people's or audience. Next story is all about my friends. My friend is Sandeep. She loves her girlfriend like anything. Whenever I discuss with her, she always focus on my girlfriend is amazing. She always care me, but she's very busy. One day, I still remember in the year 2016, my friend got award for the company. And first, he want to inform. He called her girlfriend. Hi, darling. I got my award for the best performance year in this year. I'm the best persons. And what the reply came from girlfriend? Darling, I'm busy, I call you back. I am busy, I call you back, but call never came. A person who loves from heart, but only one phone call, I am busy. What happened? My friend started drinking alcohol, drug addicted, hang around with wrong friends. What happened? I told her, why you do that? Once again, if my girlfriend is not care of that, so why should I care of me? I don't want to care of my life because I love the person most. He don't care for me. He don't have value for me. Why should I care? Next day, I got a call from almost after 1 year, my friend in the hospital bed, in the emergency room. It's beep, beep, beep in the echo machine. And he's no more one. He's no more. And trust me, only single sentence can change the entire life of my friend. I am busy. So, ladies and gentlemen, a wise man said, you can choose your words, but you cannot choose the effect they can have on the people. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mrinal, and everyone put your evaluation to Toastmaster Mrinal and choose our words wisely. Definitely something to think about. And I'm hoping that all of us will encourage someone with our words and take that time to listen when they call you. Time up, can you please place the times in the chat. And while that is happening, I'm going to ask our Sergeant at Arms to please put the poll for all of us to vote for our best effort speaker, to vote in the time in the chat. Our Sergeant at Arms is right before you now. Please vote for your best effort speaker. Please vote for your best effort speaker. And you can also marinate with all of the speakers' presentations. And like, what can I take away from today about building my self-confidence? Building my self-confidence. And what I'm going to do, we are now on the exact time of evaluations. I'll call on our general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Mohmad, to the virtual stage.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. This is an advanced club, so I'm not going to go in detail about explaining my role. We all know what my role is to explain to you. It is actually to have a team of evaluators come in, do evaluations, and then my evaluation. My first evaluator is going to be Sudarshan Sheshadri, who has been a Toastmaster for 8 long years, and he believes his voice lives long after we are gone, and therefore we need to choose carefully what we want to leave behind. Ladies and gentlemen, Sudarshan Sheshadri, Mohammed Azimuddin is his speaker. Sudarshan.
Thank you. Before I begin, can we stop sharing the screen? I can see that something is getting shared which is not relevant to my evaluation. Can that be taken away? Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, the opposite of confidence is fear. However, fear itself stands for two different things. You could interpret fear as forget everything and run, or forget everything and rise. I would like to focus on the rise because Toastmaster Azimuddin's speech was an exemplary example of how to rise. He displayed immense amount of respect, the first alphabet in rise, in addressing the elephant in the room, which is anxiety that all of us face. Some of us address, most of us give it up. The second was integrity. When he talked about his personal examples from his childhood with his brother to his current state of confidence and the ability to speak, that demonstrated a lot of integrity in what he tried to do. The next was service. What did he do? He gave us specific tools with which we could address our anxieties and enable us to speak confidently, to perform confidently, irrespective of the platform on which we stand. Excellence in the capability to harness all of the advantages that he had, whether it was technology, whether it was his own persona, whether it was his voice, all of that coming together in a coherent form, ensuring assertiveness in his statements was the hallmark of what Toastmaster Azimuddin was able to communicate today. A topic by itself very simple, yet delivered with a great deal of aplomb. This was a speech that rose up in my evaluation. In addition to it rising up because of its content and its delivery, can this speech travel and become something of a beacon of hope for all of us? My answer is an unequivocal yes. How can Toastmaster Azimuddin take this to that next level? First and foremost, while there is a slide and there are words on that slide, there is absolutely no reason to repeat. 99% of us can read English. Therefore, if the speaker could delve into the details of what those words mean, fight or flight is something most of us can read. What does it actually mean? what does one do in that situation where one is confronted with those choices is something that our speaker could have chosen to delve into. The second aspect that can take this speech to another level is movement, because anxiety creates a lot of unseen and hidden movements in all of us. I, for one, start biting my lower lip. That is a trait of an anxious person. Could our speaker have thrown some light on how do you avoid the visible tics that come up and manifest itself during your bouts of anxiety? Last but not least, we all strive to speak in impeccable English. There are times all of us falter on grammar, as did our speaker today. Prepositions are extremely critical when you transit from a statement to another. Our speaker needs to pay a lot more attention to how and where and how many prepositions should be used. All in all, though, building confidence is never a destination, because the more confidence you have, you suddenly realize there is some more to go. And today's speech was a fabulous milestone for all of us to look back upon our own journeys, give ourselves a pat on the back, and gird our loins to keep going further, because at the end of the day, it is our ability to assert our confidence which makes us winners or which leaves us behind as also rans. The choice has been presented by Toastmaster Azimuddin, and I would like to thank him for that. And I would like to request him to convert this into a professional level speech, because that's what it deserves. Thanks for having me as your evaluator. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Sudarshan, for that wonderful evaluation. I would ask the timer to please time evaluators as well, because I didn't see any lighting going on there. So thank you, Jyoti, for the evaluation. And if you can close the
if I may just quickly add, I'm
polls.
going to move to another device. There seems to be a power drop on one, but I've got the time ready. I'll post it. Just give me a couple of seconds, please.
Not at all. You can put the timings in the chat in the meantime, if you can, or have somebody else
Yes,
do that.
I can do that. Thank you very much. Sorry about it.
I'll move on to the next evaluator, who is a location. Is going to be evaluating Marianna. Before I go on, however, the previous speech and the evaluation, just wanted to mention very briefly, on the agenda, it says lead in any situation. And it was to do with reporting on a 6-month stint as a leader and getting a 360-degree evaluations from everybody and reporting on that. And so there was a difference between what the speech was and what the objectives were, and they did not quite match. And that, I think, the evaluator did not catch as the main thing. Our next evaluator is Lokesh for Marianna Burka. And Lokesh is a passionate Toastmaster for more than 4 years. Oh my goodness, life sentence there. He served as Sergeant at Arms and VP-Ed in his previous club. Today, he is evaluating Marianna. Over to you, Lokesh.
Thank you, DT Brown. Toastmaster Marianna, very good morning to you, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So leaders have to stop. What a wonderful speech, Marianna. I must say that this was really, really well prepared. I know this topic is very close to your heart, and you was excellent in terms of your delivery of your speech and question and answer session. What I really like is that the confident delivery of your speech and handling of question and answer. Like you got some tricky, difficult questions, but you have answered it really well. Just an example, when the question came, can we continue, start doing it, such kind of long fasting, you have mentioned, you have really guided step-by-step fasting approach. Instead of, directly mentioning that, let's do it from tomorrow, 20 to 23 hours fasting. You have really handled questions in an appropriate manner, I believe. You really added and that's something, best part of your speech, which I liked, is giving a different perspective of break fast. Breaking a fast. Can we have it at 12 p.m., 2 p.m.? So these are the pointers which I really, really like, connected from the audience perspective. I mean, I feel so much connected when I hear you for this entire project delivery. Any project, any speech has scope to work upon and to take your speech to the next level. I have a couple of observations to be shared with you. So your speech title was Leaders Have to Stop. Though you have mentioned at the beginning that you're sharing this story, you must be wondering how it is correlating. And you promised that it will come to the end. So you tried your level best, but to me personally, I felt it could have connected a little more. Leaders have to stop versus the entire discussion we had during the speech delivery and Q&A. Having a fasting, some sort of more conclusion building vis-a-vis of title of your speech could have been built upon. Though question and answer session was really interesting, you got a lot of tricky questions. I still felt a couple of references when you talk about such kind of long fasting help in the recovery of patients. Have some studies. So what are those studies? I was really looking forward. Couple of references. For an example, in South Africa, we had 1,000 patient study where we see 80% people have shown a remarkable recovery with this approach of 20 to 23 hours now fasting. So that's the one thing. And second thing, since this kind of long fasting is really not easy for everybody, though you have advice to go with a step-by-step advice. But I think the advice can be added at such kind of fasting to be done with an expert advice. Because there will be some patient, I'm so inspired with your speech, I can go from tomorrow, such kind of a long fasting. But if I'm a diabetic patient, is it good for me? I should have an expert advice. That I think could have come from you during the Q&A session. But otherwise, a well-prepared speech, a confident delivery, such a wonderful handling of question and answer, giving a different perspective. I really like all these segments. The only couple of things which I have mentioned is that title along with your speech delivery and some references and recommendations for expert advice can make such kind of projects really wonderful. Really love always to hear you, Marianna, and looking forward to hear more such speeches from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lokesh, for that evaluation. You did cover a very fundamental point is references and scientific studies, rather than saying it's been proven. Like we find a lot of things like on social media, scientists have said, did they really say it? Where is the proof, right? So we need to sort of say, give references as to who said this and when and what were the studies, where was the study done, and so on. So that gives us more credibility in these times of, artificial intelligence, mimicking just about everything, and we don't know what to trust these days. So put more trust in there. So thank you, Lokesh, for bringing that up. As well, you could have mentioned for this speaker, the Zoom presence. I hope that all evaluators do mention the Zoom presence because we are completely an online club. And when we're an online club, Zoom presence and how they're using the space, this little space in presenting, and that's very important as well. So thank you very much. Zoom presence was great, Marianna. You mastered Zoom very well and in presenting in front of the camera. Thank you. Our next evaluator is Carine Baptiste, and she is going to be evaluating Rivero. And she says self-confidence is superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, magic happens. Carine Baptiste.
Thank you, Bram, for this introduction. Congratulations, Ray, for this wonderful speech and also a great performance to achieve this district contest this year. So congratulations for this great performance. I would like to share with you 3 positive aspects, and after that, 2 recommendations, and then 1 challenge for Ray. I really enjoyed your speech because your speech is very well structured with a good introduction because you have engaged with your audience with 1 question. Automatically, your audience is connecting with you. So congratulations for that. And you have used perfectly your vocal variety in using at least 10 questions. And your audience is also connecting with you along your session, your speech. And I think all members should use this vocabulary in using the dialogues. You raise your voice sometimes, and also you decrease your voice in order to modulate and to engage your audience. You have also used perfectly the PowerPoint presentation in showing what are the emotions. And we see automatically the colors, green, red, in order to have in mind what you have mentioned during your speech. Another aspect you have also perfectly. I really enjoy your storytelling in sharing your own experience with the contest at district. Automatically, we use the technique of storytelling, and we are very connected with you. We won't have the response when you announce the results. I hope I won the contest. But unfortunately, you didn't win, but you share this negative experience into positive. And the key message is lesson learned. This is the main message you want to share with us. I have two recommendations for you. The first one is you use more pauses, especially when you announce the results, in order to have suspense. What does it happen? You can use in different times of your speech, especially when you introduce your personal experience. Second recommendation, try to use more gestures. For example, at last of your speech, you have shown a picture with 5 emotions. I encourage you to use with your face, anger, sadness, joy. Automatically, we see your face. And also, it is another technique to connect with your audience. So to conclude, very good speech, very structured. You have perfectly used the vocabulary. You are also, thank you also for standing up in front of you. And I encourage you to use more gestures and more poses. And your challenge for the next time, please call to action. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Carine. This is the first time I've heard you do an evaluation, and you've just recently joined the club, so thank you very much. What you could have also focused on in your evaluation is, of course, eye contact. And I could see that Ray was missing eye contact because we are an only online club, and our window to the world is the camera. So when we are looking into the lens, it's very, very important for all of us to look into the lens, to have our videos on, and to make sure we are speaking to the globe, because it's almost like a broadcasting station, right? In a TV, you can see that the presenter on TV is always looking into the camera. They learn how to look into the camera to make an impact with the audience, millions of audiences. Here, you've got quite a lot of audience here today, and camera is very, very important. I liked also how you touched on the key lessons and the lessons learned, as well as some good feedback on how we're to improve for the next time. Thank you very much. Our next evaluator is Bintu Joseph, who is going to be evaluating Asif. And Bintu says the lack of confidence can be a thread that is woven into our soul at an early age. However, Toastmaster releases those notes in a way unimaginable and what could be possible. Thank you so much. All yours, Bintu Joseph.
That's it. What I really appreciated right from the moment go was the clarity of your Zoom presence. It was all you. There's no distracting background like I have. There was no practiced hand gestures, no gimmicks. It was just you and very natural, very clear. Now, the second perspective, what you were interested in, the clarity of your presentation. Now, you started with a problem, the problem of miscommunication. You stated it as a general problem, and then you went on into how it is a personal problem in your workspace, what you felt the challenge of miscommunication was about, or the challenge of communication rather. And after that, you gave us your perspective of that, your perspective of a solution. Prioritize your audience. Now, I was really intrigued by this perspective. I don't say I agree with it, but I love the food for thought, being intrigued by prioritizing your perspective. Now, obviously, you did have a clear message. There is clarity throughout your speech as to what you wanted to convey. My challenge to you is, now that you know you have clarity, focus on connectivity. Perhaps this clarity could be connected with the audience a little more, even from the beginning of the speech. The title, Communication Styles, doesn't exactly evoke interest or curiosity. Maybe a title like, what is the problem? Is it what you say or whom you say it to? I mean, of course, that is just a suggestion. That is my style. It need not be your style. The next aspect is an important way that you can communicate is vulnerability. Maybe when you are facing a problem, show that little bit of how it, it intrigued you or it confused you. That connects with the people in your audience. In my perspective, your communication style was very clearly direct throughout. I don't really think you met your speech objectives. You could have met your speech objectives, in my view, by maybe just mentioning a little bit of that direct style. So, Asif, clarity you already have. And definitely you have given me food for thought. My challenge to you in your next speech is, give me food that I can perhaps eat. Back to you, General Evaluator Brown.
Thank you very much, Bintu, for that evaluation. I did get that, you talked about where he mentioned about the miscommunication, how he has to prioritize things. And the biggest thing that speaker probably got is from clarity to connectivity, and as well as the title. The title has to be more catchy. I really like that evaluation from that perspective. Thank you very much, Bindu, for the evaluation. Our next evaluator is evaluator number 5, Sundar Subramanian, as well, a brand new member to the club. Just recently joined, hardly 2 weeks have passed or less than that. And he's going to be evaluating Angela Brown. And he says this, that speaking with confidence means one is prepared with known information and ready to handle any unknown happenings. Over to you, Sundar.
Thank you, General Brown. And my target speaker, Toastmaster Angela Brown. What a way to start it, like asking a question. Do you have a secret? And you want them to raise their hands and get their attention. You kind of grab their attention of all the audiences that is here. And also with the question of about asking a secret, and you also ensure that kind of, hey, you're not going to share it. The next thing that you kind of surprised us is with the picture of the celebrities and say, kind of looking their smiles and their performance and say, what is behind these smiles. And these smiles can be because of joy, the life they are cherishing, or also because of struggles and pain that they have been kind of hiding. And that made me to think like, wow, what a subject you're going to open up and how sensitive it's going to be. And you did touch on your journey that you're going through and how are you handling it and why it is important to kind of get help. And to get help is by sharing the secret. However, you kept it as a secret, but I did kind of nail it down to kind of an especially health. If it's related to health and it needs some sharing and caring, and it's better to share. and how it's kind of helping you. That wasn't wow for me. You used good body language. You have used both your hands and you moved from front and back, but that movement was a little limited is what I felt, because when you talked about your brother, that could have been a more emotion, right? That he was there and there was no one there. More hand gestures could have been demonstrated there. That's one I felt right on, especially on the hand gestures. The second one I thought about is the pausing. It was an emotional speech which needs that pauses to get digested and to be understood well in a right way. So it was all helping. At times it felt like a bit more than the required. So maybe you work on the pauses that will help. You ended the speech very well. There is help and that's for you. That help is there for you, right? And you also said that especially with the health conditions, right? That how it is helping you and how you moved, right? Because you opened up how vulnerable you are and how much challenges you're going through. You missed out a second of how are you doing now? And I really want to know how are you doing now? Are things better with you? Right? And I hope things are getting better with you. And I'm looking forward for your future speeches. All the best. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Sundar Subramanian, for that evaluation. This is the first time I'm hearing you speak actually in an audience. Brand new member, you actually joined even before you came to the club. Amazing, the trust that you have in our club. You quite rightly pointed out to the speaker about their body language, which was pretty good, but using the emotion at the same time. And I would have liked to see that actually from the speaker about the depression and to make it a bit more impactful as well, including very pregnant poses, especially when, I wanted to end it all, and there's that pose. And I would ask the evaluator to use vocal variety to demonstrate to the speaker, rather than as a flat tone, to demonstrate to the speaker where they could have used the emotion to raise lower pose as well. That demonstration is very necessary for the evaluator so that the speaker knows exactly where you're coming from. It is just like, when we say, scientists say this, but, give us an example where the scientist said this, same way. Speaker do this, but you actually demonstrate how they could have done it. Thank you very much for that, Sundar. Our next evaluator is my good friend and my moderator in my podcasts, world famous Aswati Rajan, and she's going to be evaluating Mrinal, Kanti, Ghosh. And she says confidence is the backbone of public speaking. It comes with the credibility and character. All yours, Aswati.
Thank you so much, DTM Brown. Words are powerful. They have the ability to create a moment or destroy it. What an amazing speech. What an amazing theme for the speech, Toastmaster Mrinal. I just loved it. Now, let me share the areas that I like the most from your speech today. It's well said that the initial part of the speech, the initial few seconds of the speech are crucial because you need to build a connect with the audience. And today you kept us all captivated through that dramatic entry. The way you had a cigarette in your hand and lit it, and then you started speaking about some facts, came up with some data, and suddenly you were bringing some surprise elements that it is not about smoking, then moved on to the cancer, then again came back. So it was a wonderful beginning with so many surprise elements. I'm sure the audience will agree with me that they all were hooked towards your speech. Great beginning, Toastmaster Mrinal. Now coming to the Zoom presence, the way you presented your speech today, your background was clear, amazing background, and your body language was perfect. I love the way you used your hand gestures. You use your fingers to emphasize some points, to show your emotions. You came close to the screen, you moved away. It was fantastic. But at certain points, I felt that when you were moving away from the camera, when you were trying to scribble, enact like your daughter scribbling on the walls, your hands were going out of focus. So it would be nice if you can check all those before presenting it. So that's something which I felt there. Also, it was nice to see a conversation added into your speech when you and your friend were talking over a phone. I would have loved to see you using the stage, using the speaking area, moving on both the sides as Mrinal and as friend, so that we can see that transition clear with the voice modulation. So I missed that part also there. Another thing which kept me captivated throughout your speech was stories, the beautiful life stories, amazing stories, which is actually your real life situations, which you connected very well with the theme. And all were your personal stories. But I would have loved to hear a story which is connected to your professional life too. As a self-directed leader, I am sure you would have faced such a situation in your office or maybe in your club where you had to mind your words or use your words wisely to handle the situation, or you would have learned a lesson after using those words. So I would have loved to hear that story also. And you had a great message throughout. After every story, you made sure you reinstated the message very clearly. But towards the end, I felt that you were rushing because of the time. And somewhere I missed that impact which you had in the beginning. So that's a suggestion again. So with that, I'm sure that you would be implementing all these suggestions in your next speech. All the very best, Toastmaster Mrinal.
Thank you, Aswati, for that evaluation. Mrinal, a question for you, which we will get to it later on, is when you began your speech with a cigarette, the very first image that some of the audience got was, is this Mohmad Khatani's speech? And so was it really? We will discuss that later on of this meeting, and we'll get to the bottom of that. If you are looking at an international world champion of public speaking and you copy even 1 second of it, you really have to mention that that is what you are doing, because immediately we all know that speaker and we all know where it came from. And so you have to mention, even if it was your original and you had thought of it 10 years before him, because in our minds, that is what's there. And so we were thinking, is this speech a copy of Mohmad Khatani's speech or not? So we will get to that. But thank you so much, Aswati, for the evaluation and how you made us recommendations and suggestions for Mrinal to improve his speech, especially the ending, which was very hurried and he was running out of time. Mrinal, I liked, however, your vocal variety and how you're speaking. You're getting towards that keynote speaking that you want to be a keynote speaker, and you're really getting closer and closer. So what I'll do is I'll work with you to make sure that you start creating that your branded keynote speech. Thank you so much. With that, I will ask the Sergeant at Arms to launch the poll. And while the poll is being launched, and please vote for the best effort evaluator today, I will give you my general evaluation, and I will begin with the Toastmaster of the day. Our Toastmaster of the day, of course, our most enthusiastic member from Antigua, Francoise Bowen. What an amazing Toastmastering today. You did a great job. You're well prepared. I saw that everyone had accepted the role by Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. You must have communicated with all the people on the agenda. Now, remember, for the audience here and for the rest of the members, the Toastmaster of the day is the team leader. I'm not the VP of Education. The VP of Education might create the initial agenda, but then the Toastmaster of the day is the team lead. They put together the team in the WhatsApp group, communicate with them, and make sure that the agenda will unfold as per what was laid out in what Easy Speak. And that was done very well. Your opening content was done good as well. I liked it. Now, let's go back to the start of the meeting. When I came in exactly at 9 o'clock. The meeting room was open, and I was let in immediately into the meeting room. I also saw Speaker Angela come into the room and test her equipment, which we had requested that all speakers and all role players must come before 9:15. They should actually come at 9 o'clock. Between 9 and 9:15, they can test their equipment. Now, why is that? Because after 9:15, we see that guests and other members are arriving who may not be on the agenda, and they have to be greeted. Now, my apologies if I may have sounded a little bit rough this morning when I said, please give the Sergeant at Arms some space to greet the guests, which you should. And if you will look at my training video, which I actually recorded a training video that I train globally. One of the training videos that was recorded, in it, I actually mentioned how guests should be treated and when they should be greeted. Watch that video, especially for our members in this club, because you are members of other clubs and your home clubs, and you can take that away and make those clubs successful. When a member or a greeter arrives, they should be greeted within, when a member or guest arrives, they should be greeted within 30 seconds. Thank you very much. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I see the red light. Was that 7 minutes already done? Because it's 7 minutes on the agenda. With that, thank you very much. I will now pass this on to our.
Well, that wasn't
Master of
7
the day.
minutes according to the
Sorry,
G. I was just looking at. It's not 7 minutes. It's just 3 minutes. Sorry about that.
It is on the agenda at the 7 minutes. So could you put off the light and give me the real time? What is the real time now?
2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, if you put off the red light, then that'll be good, and put on the correct light.
Yes.
Thank you very much. However, since we are all running a little bit late, I will cut this short. I will just make sure that I've covered everything that is necessary. I want to especially mention Ram Lakhanpal on well done toast, exactly the way it should be, consistent with the theme. I also want to comment on the grammarian, which is also consistent with the theme and the word of the day. So now I will call on the grammarian to give me the grammarian's report. Over to you, and be assertive, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Ram, at the beginning of the meeting, I assumed that people will use the word a lot, but it wasn't as much as I expected. We had only 3 people using it at the beginning. The toast of the day by Ram. Use it.
Daniel, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Sorry. My apologies for that. So it was used 3 times at the beginning. Well, at the beginning, Ram used it twice, the toast of the day. Then we had Francois use it once, and Sudarshan also used the word once. The other good uses of the English language, some of the good uses when you had some very good quotes. One of the good quotes was one by Bind, was a nice one. Prioritizing, give me my food that I can eat, was a nice, statement there. And then Bram was saying he covered the fundamentals, covered a fundamental point, our window into the world. That was great. Some areas that we could do a bit better was in one speaker said quite a lot of audience. I think it's quite a number of audience would be better. There was also something of too much confident or too very much confident. You say maybe hugely confident, truly confident, or extremely instead of so much. Then there was also a nice quote by Marianna, my pet peeve, very nicely done. All in all, we had a good day with vocabulary. And back to you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful use of the language and words today. I would ask, of course, because we are a team, it means we, not me, and if we are as a team, then we should all turn on our videos so that gives respect to the speaker. The speaker doesn't want to speak to a blank, screen there. So put on your videos, especially if you're a member. With that, I will turn this over to our Toastmaster of the day, Francoise Bowen. All yours, Francoise.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. And we are pleased to give the awards. But before I give the awards, I'd like to say a special welcome to Gingy. That's a cat, Gingy. who is sitting down with Marie. And Ginger is going to help me give the award to the best speaker, who is none other than Angela Brown. And our best effort evaluator goes to none other than Carine Baptiste. Thanks a million for attending today's meeting. Speak with confidence from the beginning to the end. We definitely received so much gems of knowledge to assist us in our growth, in our leadership, communication, and analytical thinking skills. And with this, I will also say congratulations as well to distinguished Toastmaster Brahmamon in achieving his 3rd DTM. And we hand the virtual lectern to our president, Brahmamon, as he have his one-on-one with guests and members. Again, thank you for being with us at Leadership Speak. We see you next week, same time, right here. Thank you. Francoise, Bowen, signing out.
Thank you, Francois, for that. And I would like to thank Rosie especially for putting in the chat for us the guest book for our guests to sign in. So thank you for doing that. I would like to ask the guests to stay on. Since we are past time according to the agenda, this meeting is adjourned. We can stop the recording. Oh, it is stopped. I don't know.